with my Bosley MD leave-in conditioner, scalp to ends. Again, it's going to help me and help her with the rosemary extracts, VHD blockers, gives me slip within, and gives me control within when I'm doing my haircut. When you're working with it, you're looking for shape within the in a haircut. When you're working with it, another thing with curly hair, I love the creative freedom that we have because it is a look and a feel, but you're also going to think about, you have to keep in mind the texture, the formation, and how that curl is moving, so that bounce back that we're going to get. So with her, you want to keep a shape in mind. She already, I kind of call it a happy face. So if you see this little soft smile that's taking place, it keeps a nice round motion inside of it, which creates a lot of movement within curly hair. So when you hear curl girls say, or curl guys say, I don't want any corners in my hair, it's because most likely a straight line was hit. So when you come off the crown and you look at where your comb is sitting, here and here, where that comb ends is where it's going to be the first corner. That's where you're going to have weight in the hair, and that's where that boxiness can start creating in your foundation. Some people want that, and if they do, that is totally okay. You know the shape that you're creating, and if they don't, you also know how to soften it by creating a nice round shape within. Typically, my body will be parallel to my section angle accuracy, which is a horizontal diagonal back, and I'll be, directly in front of her. But I'm going to be standing on the side so you can see what's taking place. Working with my wide tooth and my comb. And I'm going to start it using very minimal tension. So wide teeth, minimal tension to no tension, okay? Horizontal, diagonal, back to help me create a nice shape. I'm going to do a little tension release by tapping my comb. And I'm going to get rid of these little stragglers here. So I'm really using my guideline for the Bosley MD, which I love because we can use like little points here. And do you see how that just sprung back and gave those curls some life already? I'm going to go to my other side. You can also freehand this, coming right underneath, connecting the dots, ensuring zero tension. Stepping in front, checking it out. Oh yeah, bounce with me. Going in, getting control, getting some spring back. Again, if you feel comfortable going in with your wide teeth or your comb, seeing where your guide is, going in, taking a horizontal diagonal back. Scissors are parallel to your comb, taking a nice little ring there. And we have a nice little distance in that space. Look at that beautiful shape already. And you can see now that she's going to get more of a spring back here as we're going forth. She was okay with this length. It's something we did also discuss prior to. And now that I have the foundation and the perimeter set, I want to now connect it to the front. Keeping my comb in my hand because we want to work smarter, not harder. Going down this hair shaft, base to ends, combing, connecting, and I'm going to take this front to long, over direction. So again, with tension, you don't have to use so much tension like you would when you're working with your guests with straight hair. So I'm going to over direct this forward. Finger angle at this point is going to be my friend. Do a tension release, and I'm going to connect the front to the back. And boom, bada bing. Bringing it down, noticing that she does have some little cowlicks here. Following that around. Allowing this shape to start taking place. So we see our guide, these little stragglers, and you see there is no motion here. So this is why she was okay too, to let this go. Wide tooth, bringing it down. Tension is going to feel different. So I'm going to release it, go back up, and I'm cutting to my second knuckle and letting it go. Boom, shakalaka. Ooh, ooh. Other side. Isn't she pretty? Making sure we have balance. And a big thing too, when you're working with curly hair, making sure you're keeping that density and that saturation consistent on both sides. I like that stuff. You're gonna get some. She said she loves this stuff.
It's refreshing and cool on the scalp.
So she's saying some key points in here, like the rosemary, the refreshingness. So she's feeling the activations taking place and the stimulation happening on her scalp here, which is all the things that we want them to feel. And these are not anything abnormal. This time on this side, really quickly, my fingers are going up versus down. So making sure we're keeping that consistency going. My guide is coming from the back. I'm over directing forward because I want to have short, pushing long, keeping that happy face in motion. Connecting the dots. This side over here was just a tad bit shorter in the front. So now we're just connecting and balancing the whole haircut. Give me some balance. Namaste. No. And bringing this in. A big thing too, while my guests are going through all of this and we're going through these big life changes, I also ask them and talk to them about what's taking place within their eating. So when we're going through their eating, I'm like, how are you eating? How's your eating regimen? Because that plays a role as well on how we're going to get everything back into one fatal swoop of getting healthy. What you put in your body is going to affect what you put, is going to affect what's going to happen within your hair, skin, and nails as well. So if they're not eating the proper nutrients or getting everything that they need in regards to minerals, vitamins, protein, carbs, and there are good carbs and proper carbs that we're looking at. If we don't have all of that going for ourselves, then what's going to happen here is their hair is not going to grow. Carbs are not bad. You need carbs in your system to help fuel. Carbs are your energy. So you definitely want to make sure you have that going for yourself and have them eating the proper carbs. Like you can have them recommend some quinoa is a great carb, also a great protein. You can also recommend some sweet potatoes, great carb, also a great protein. So keeping all of those things in mind when you're discussing these things with your guests is super, super, super important to let them know. Not only am I going to give you a system while you're at home to work with, I also want to provide you something. I want to know, how is your lifestyle at home? How is your stress life at home? So I really take the initiative to have this conversation with my guests in regards to what are they doing? How are they doing it? How do we make sure you're feeding the body from the inside out and then having a system on the outside like the Bosley shampoo and conditioner and the foam to support, amongst a couple other things that I am going to recommend for my guest, Jen here. So now I'm going to go in and we're going to take another section within here. Dropping this down, sectioning this off. Soft mist first with water on the base. And we can see the fullness already of where we took off here on that mid shock to ends. And taking it down. So when you're doing this, keep it in mind, starting from the ends. And again, because I can see my die, I can go in and freehand and free cut with my shears. So taking it, walking it around, she pretty much likes this one lean feel. Beautiful. Walking it around. Nice and control. Again, typically I'll be parallel to my section angle accuracy. And again, you see how that transformation is already taking place within the cut. Layering everything down, allowing it to drop. Nice miss of the base. All the way down to the ends. Base to ends. And combing it down. So when your guests are, again, coming in, discussing these topics, giving them the education they need, offering them suggestions on how we can make this a lot easier for them to go through their process with, letting them know that you are there for support, and we have tools and knowledge to keep them where they need to go. So recommending the shampoos and conditioners to them, giving them the knowledge of, okay, now we have to get your stress under control, asking them how are they managing their stress when they're behind the chair. We're more than just hairdressers. I look at it like we have our PhD, our professional hairdresser degree. So keeping those things in mind when we're talking to our guests is super, super crucial, and letting them know I have solutions for you. You're not alone. Keeping this going for yourself is going to look like this over the course of the next 6 months to a year. Offering them different solutions in regards to doing some haircuts. We may have to bring it up a little bit more to create some fullness within the haircut. Bringing everything to a neutral space. And we're seeing now how that's going to look. Big thing for a guest, she's like, I want a ponytail. Long as I get my ponytail, I'm okay. As long as I get my ponytail, I'm okay.
Yep.
So giving her ponytail length, taking off all the things she does not need, but providing her the things that she does over time. So as we're going through our new grow out of this shape, we're going to have a very successful end result. Combing it from the base just to get some of that product in, and then she's pretty easy. And then I'm going to go down and get those ends, marry those in, and combing it out. Again, just creating a nice shape of movement in the hair, balancing everything out, seeing my guide. Again, if you can see it here. And what we don't want is we don't want to see, I call them like little tentacles from an octopus. When you see those, it's like, it's time to let it go. Or little squids. Like, we don't want those. We don't want those. Again, keeping that round shape. So even though right now I'm freehanding, I'm keeping in mind, I'm connecting the dots, nice, slow, controlled, walking it through, getting it going, and look at this nice shape taking place right here. And when you're going in, looking how those curls are coming to life and popping open. Yes, girl. Hello, girlfriends. Her front married beautifully with the sides here. So now it's just taking this around. Again, disconnecting the dots, over-directing forward, creating, by over-directing forward, we're going in, allowing it to be short in the front, long in the back, creating a natural little face framing there. If you want something short to long, you over-direct the hair back, causing the front to be longer and the back to be shorter. So keeping those things in mind when you're going in, you're doing your cut, releasing the tension. I'm not keeping it. I'm giving a nice little bend, releasing it to where the tension of her hair is going to be, and navigating to my second knuckle, creating, opening it up, and looking for some nice shape here. So when I'm going in to do her styling, oh girl, Bossy MD has some amazing things, but she didn't let me know too that she was, again, like she said, she had some little bit of challenges taking place here. Hi Fabi, how are you? She had a little bit of challenges taking place here, so I'm going to be working with her and recommending to her also Bossy MD's follicle energizer. Awesome. You can do it on wet or dry hair, and a little bit goes a long way. So it's a dry serum that you can use on the hair, as well as you can place it on the scalp. So it has some coffee, so it's going to give it like a nice little caffeine trip for the hair in a good way, So you're going to have a good little nice caffeine. And I'm going to place this on her hairline because this is some areas that she noticed that she was having some challenges with. We can see some density difference here around the hairline. It dries on in like 10 seconds. So she can do this twice a day, in the morning, at night, giving her a nice little massage around that hairline, helping stimulate the scalp with the biotin, adding the strength that we need. Guests love this too, so they're like, oh girl. Yes. So this is a little bit something you can do after you're doing your cut. Now we're like, okay, we're gonna layer in. And I have this on my fingers. So if you wanna put it on your fingers as well, I'm gonna layer in the Bossy MD Hair Follicle Energizer. We're gonna massage this in on your scalp. We're gonna help with that circulation because our scalp tends to get tight as well when you're stressed out. As well as we hold a lot of pressure here. And we wanna keep that circulation and blood flow going. So by doing this nice little massage on the scalp, you're helping encourage and you're also guiding them to do this little self-care for themselves as well as we're going through the process of everything. Awesome. So once we have this going for ourselves, you can see how her curls from beginning to right now have already changed. And afterwards, I will be showing you an after picture, so I'll be posting it in the comments once we're all styled and finished with this beautiful lady. And I thank you so much.